The ever-elusive winning streak continues to befuddle the Edmonton Oilers as they fall in overtime to the Buffalo Sabres 4-3. My goodness, lots to talk about after this one. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, thank you. Hope you're staying warm out there on your way home, perhaps from the game. And those watching over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button as we get set to break this one down. Tom Gazzola, Shawn, Belle, and Ben Thomson with you for this edition of the post-game show. Of course, brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Join the conversation, 780-218-9999. That's the text line. And then, of course, if you're watching over on YouTube, get into the nasty chat on YouTube. If your name is vulgar or racist, we will not tolerate that, and you will be booted. Also, just if we see anything that's said that is way over the line, you will also be booted out. I'm just sending it out there. I don't usually say anything, but we noticed some stuff prior to getting the show going, and we will not let that fly. All right, let's welcome in Bellsy and Benny. Okay, boys. I mean, good first period, really bad second period if you're the Oilers. If you're the Buffalo Sabres, you like your second period to go, okay, you know, this has been a tough road trip. We're 2-9-2 on the road. We just got our butts whooped in Calgary yesterday, and you push back. You take a 3-0 lead, and then 10 seconds into the third, the Oilers cue the comeback. You get a goal from McDavid. Then you get a goal a minute and a half later from Podkolzin digging in front. I like to see that. And then you get that late goal after a PK from the Oilers to tie it, send it into OT, and then like 30 seconds into overtime. Spotty coverage, guys. A missed or a lost battle in your own zone, and you lose the puck, and you don't get it back, and then they score on you. And we're talking about a 4-3 OT loss, and this team can't win 3 in a row. And just when like this was a prime situation for the Oilers to have their first winning streak. And they didn't really have a ton of jam. They had some in the first. They had a lot in the third. Nothing in the second. Bellsy, are they back? Are we worried? You know, how do you look at it?
Had a resurgence, but you get into a game like that today, and I think I text you guys. I'm like, this game feels kind of meh. They started off fine. Like I don't think it was a great start by any stretch of the imagination, but I didn't think it was a bad start either. I just thought they were there. They were just playing. And then at some point, kind of in the second period, Buffalo just fully took over the game. And like, it was lost battle, lost race. It was like just domination. You know, it's they score 3, and you're sitting back being like, okay, like these are points that you shouldn't be giving up. But in normal Oiler fashion, they come roaring out in the third period, and they make a game out of it. They get lucky, obviously, because they had a 5-on-3 with under 5 minutes left in the game. They kill it off.
Yep.
They go back down. They have some urgency, and they score with 1 second left in the game. And you sit there and you say, like, why just not have that level of energy to start the game? And we probably aren't having this conversation today. Then the third period the overtime starts. There's a lost battle. Shoddy coverage, like you mentioned, and it ends up in the back of your net. And it's just, it's that wave. It's the roller coaster that they present to you. But, you know, good news is you're able to battle back. Bad news is the fact that, hey, you gave Buffalo Sabres life, which we talked about in the pregame show. You allowed them to hang around. You allowed them to take the lead and ultimately win the game and get that extra point, where at this point in the season, you want to start building some, you know, string of points together where you're having a streak, not just, okay, I'm going to win 2 games here and then I'm going to lose a game and then might win one and then lose one. You want to get rolling. You want to feel good about your game. And what better time than a homestand and having Buffalo and Detroit on your schedule?
Guys, I mean, they've won 2 in a row 4 times this season. We're 30 games in.
Yeah.
It was right there for them. Benny, what did you see tonight?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same things. Their first period, I mean, if they go out and have a solid second and third, I don't think anyone talks about the first period being a bad period at all. Like it was. I thought it was pretty solid. They outshot them for majority of that period, and I think there's a 10-minute segment there where Buffalo wasn't able to land a shot on net. It's just that second period was that bad. It was that bad of a second period that ended up losing them the game. Obviously, the desperation they had in that third period, if they had that, like Belle said, if they had that for a full 60, I mean, we're talking about probably a blowout tonight. But instead, they were kind of asleep at the wheel and took Buffalo lightly. And that's what ended up costing them. There's a couple different ways you can look at this game. And of course, the end result was only 1 point out of 2. But if you want to look at it the positive way, they played a really good period, a solid period, and a horrible period. So it kind of went 2 for 3. And then you like their resilience to come back. But overall, I mean, obviously it's not an acceptable loss, right? Buffalo is in a rough situation coming off a back-to-back and a road trip. I don't like the word scheduled losses for the NHL because I think any team can win on any given night, but this could have been labeled as a scheduled loss for a lot of people, right? And
sure.
And Oilers didn't capitalize on it. So yeah, I get the frustration from fans, but it's the way it is. They showed some flashes, they showed some heart, they showed some resilience. In the end, it wasn't good enough.
I don't want to add insult to injury, but listen, this game, it was Colton Ellis who started.
Yep.
He played great against the Oilers a few weeks ago back in Buffalo. That was a 5-1 defeat at the hands of the Sabres. And he got the start again tonight. He couldn't even finish the first period. David Tomaszek bumps into him, and he was done for the game. So Alex Lyon had to go in. They had to send the E-Bug down to get ready. Cardwell, or Weston Cardwell's his name, former Edmonton Red Wing boys. So I was kind of hoping a former Red Wing would get it to an NHL game. That would have been great. That's my old junior team. But yeah, Alex Lyon goes in. I thought he played pretty strong, made some big saves, especially early when he got in, and there was about a minute and a bit left, and he was tested. He made some stops. So just one of those nights where the Oilers, everything was set up perfectly for them, and they absolutely blew it. So we want to hear from you. Text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat as well. Let's go to Brian Swainer with some stats for us. They're not good. I'm not going to lie. They're not good. Swainer has 2 nice ones for us. Says this is only the 3rd time since the NHL introduced the shootout that the Oilers don't have a winning streak of at least 3 during their first 30 games of the season. The other times were 2013. That was a lockout shortened season. And then 2017-18, that season went sideways in a hurry. Obviously, they didn't make the playoffs, cost Todd McCullough his job, and ushered in an era of change. And Peter Chiarelli started the tire fire, if you will. That was a bad season for the Oil. And then the other thing Swainer sent in was this was the latest game time goal scored by the Oilers since the infamous Alashemsky goal against Dallas in 2007. They have scored 3 other game time goals in the final 2 seconds. Chris Pronger versus the Coyotes in 2006, and Brad Isbister versus Minnesota in 2003. Doug Weight did it against Colorado back in 1995. So some good stats there from Swainer as we head into the inbox. Let's go to Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave texting and says, I composed this after the second period. I would call that game, quote unquote, retro. A classic Oilers in October style effort, terrible passing, a complete and utter lack of grit or emotion, an apparent inability to move a puck out of their end, horrible penalty kill, an inexplicable refusal to shoot on the power play, zero chemistry, and all capped off nicely by an absolutely egregious patented Bouchard blunder. And all this against the struggling Buffalo Sabres on the second half of a back-to-back with travel. Unbelievable in all caps from Uncle Dave. Good way to start it out of the inbox. Bellsy, were you reacting there? Did you want to say something?
I'm laughing because there's some truth to it but at the same time, it's not fully there. Like I if you were to give the first period a grade, I'm probably thinking like a C+, B-. Like,
Yep.
they weren't good, they weren't bad, like I mentioned earlier. I just thought they were there. They played. They're like giving their 70% effort. And in the second period, I thought it was a D, F, even.
Bad. Bad.
They just got flat out outworked. And I didn't really think they were going to come back until, Connor scores 10 seconds into the period. But even with all the penalties and the way that they were playing, like, it was almost undeniable. You knew that they were going to come back. That's how it felt the minute the third period started and Connor scores that goal. They get a little bit of life. The crowd is going bananas. Here we go again. And then it's just that OT where I don't understand. Like, it's a 3-on-3. It's a man-on-man. Why are two guys going to that particular player? Why are you leaving Alex Tuch, who's a pretty good player, wide open by himself? That's the stuff that I just don't understand. And it's I'm trying not to be negative with my comments, but it's the same stuff over and over again. It's the lack of details. It's those little fundamentals where it's like, okay, if you play that 3-on-3 and you just get your guy and you can identify your guy, that it's probably not going in the net. So it sucks that they lose this game. It sucks that the way that they lose the game, when reality is even if you would have given 80% of an effort based on what you saw in the third period, you're probably steamrolling the Buffalo Sabres.
Shots on goal after one were 8-7. They were okay. And then, Buffalo took it to them in the second, 14-10. I'm just going to the shots here real quick. And then the Oilers woke up 12-6 in the third, and then just the one shot in OT, and it was Alex Tuch burying it. Edmonton was great on the faceoff, dot at 61.8%. They end up outshooting Buffalo 30-28. Power play goes 0 for 4. PK goes 4 for 6. Now, they got that PK late, the two-man advantage that they killed off. That was great. And then they took that other penalty. It was Nugent Hopkins late.
Yep.
And then they still scored. So that worked out okay. But you get the huge blunder from Bouchard. The lapses, man. The lapses are just brutal, and they lose the special. But Belle, you highlighted the special teams battle too in the pregame show.
It's an important matchup. I mean, the way that the Oilers were rolling on the power play, like I mentioned, I think it was November 29th. They're at like 65%, which is a crazy number for a power play. And then for the season, you're 33%. But at the same time, Buffalo, if they do anything really well, they kill extremely well. So you had to figure out ways to break kind of their system and generate some momentum on the power play. And, for the first couple of reps of the power play, I didn't really see anything that were like, okay, well, there's a serious threat. Buffalo stayed in the lanes. They took away the seams. They had good position. So it was a big battle. And then on the flip side, Buffalo's power play, I believe, was 15th in the league or 17th in the league. And the PK for the Oilers is right around the same mark. And what ended up happening was the power play wins it for Buffalo, essentially. I mean, obviously the Tuch goal wins it, but scoring 2 goals on the power play is something you do not want to see.
Power play for the Sabres rose to 13th. And then on the road, though, it's at 20th in the NHL. Edmonton on the PK, 17th coming into tonight around the National Hockey League, 16th, 17th at home,
like
too.
13th and 17th, right?
That's what it was.
Was the battle.
Power play first, but didn't look like it tonight for the Oilers.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into the inbox, 780-218-9999. This one comes in, no name on it, says, I don't want to hear any moral victories tonight. I don't want to hear about how they made it close. We are way past this. They lost to the 30th place team in the league yet again. It's an acceptable loss through and through. Buffalo played last night. Edmonton PK at power play failed. Edmonton decided to play down to a crap team yet again. I really don't understand how Edmonton continues to fail against crap teams year after year. Pretty much everything is bang on there. What else do we got? Jack Jinx from Mark. Not sure I know what that is. Eden texting in says, evening, boys. It seems to me that this year's team has some unearned arrogance in their game. They haven't strung 3 wins together all year, and they turn in that kind of game against a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 14 years. And for whatever reason, Buffalo has given Edmonton fits. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the Oilers take them too lightly. Probably. We've seen it year after year after year. As that one texter pointed out, they kind of play down to some teams' levels, and Buffalo's one of those teams. Go ahead, Belsey.
I just like, are we disrespecting Buffalo a little bit too much?
Yes, absolutely. But guess what? It's well deserved. They're 2-9-2 on the road. They're the 30th place team. They were down to, they had to play Alex Lyon again. They didn't have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen dressed. They have a 3-goalie rotation. They had Jason Zucker injured.
And before their injuries, were they not trending up?
Kind of.
They've got some players on that team that are dangerous. I mean, pick one. Alex Tuck. That's a dangerous hockey player. He's a guy that if we're using an Oiler uniform, we're all sitting here being like, man, this guy's unbelievable.
He is unbelievable. He's a tremendous player.
Thomson is an unbelievable hockey player.
Absolutely.
They've got some good hockey players. And so I understand they're 30th in the league because they haven't been playing well. But at the same time,
Josh Norris didn't play tonight.
There's no way you can look at that roster and say, okay, Powers, Dahlin on the back end, Bowen Byram on the back end, and be like, well, we're going to sleepwalk through this game. Like there's too much talent on that team to sit there and be like, okay, well, we can just come in with a marginal effort. Like they work. They're a young team. They want to get better. And so I just find it a weird thing where, the Oilers just don't, for whatever reason it is with Buffalo, they just don't live up to the games against Buffalo. Like they don't get up for those games. But I'm questioning it because it's like, well, are we just flat out disrespecting them based off what their roster looks like?
No, we're disrespecting them because the bottom half of this roster is not good. Okay, it's not good. Right? The top half that you alluded to, yes, those are very good hockey players.
Yeah, and guess what? They lost to that top end of the roster. So
they certainly did. And then they also were coming in with a 3-game losing streak to start this road trip. They have 2 damn wins on the road all year long. And not only that, it wasn't that long ago, Edmonton got embarrassed by Buffalo 5-1. Mm-hmm. So yes, we're disrespecting them, but it's 100% deserved. And I understand from a Buffalo perspective that they wanted to bounce back. They wanted to make up for yesterday's tough loss in Calgary. But I'm sorry, losing that way to this lineup,
wave it.
Not good. Not good.
Too good.
Baptized Big Uke says, so Tommy, you're saying Buffalo is due? No, they weren't. They should have Buffalo should have lost this game. The fact that they had the Oilers on the ropes is like a minor miracle, and all the credit to them because they worked harder than Edmonton for more of the game than Edmonton worked harder than the Buffalo Sabres. They took advantage of opportunities that were given to them. Yes, I've seen some texts. There were some really soft calls on both sides, you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On both. I look at those calls. I'm like, really? That's a penalty. That's a penalty on Hyman. That's a penalty on Nugent Hopkins. That was a penalty on Tuck. And like, there were some just soft, crappy calls at both ends tonight.
Can I get something off my chest?
Please.
Do people pay money to watch the linesmen drop pucks?
Some linesmen believe they do.
The blanking puck, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
Stop kicking guys out because it's so ridiculous. You're standing there hunched over, ready to drop the puck. Like, just like drop it. Drop it. We're not here to watch you.
Belsey, they want to have conversations with the players like they're their buddies.
Yeah. Well, guess what? They get mother blanked from the players because they refuse to drop the puck. I'm sitting here watching and I'm like, why are you kicking another guy out of the circle? Like, just do your job and put that thing down and let the play happen so we can watch real people do their job. You stripes.
Belsey, I'll tell you this. I'm noticing like a big thing was made of it when the Leafs had printouts of the officials with their photos. on their bench. Dallas, when the Stars were here, I was on the bench. I was doing some video stuff prior to the game from the Morning C8, and Dallas had big strips of tape along the inside of the dashers with the number of the official and just the first name for the defense and for the forwards.
Yeah,
at both ends of the bench.
Sweet talk them so that you can get a call or two.
But these refs and these linesmen, they want to talk to these guys. They want to be their friends. It's weird.
Just drop the puck.
Thank you.
Don't care. I don't care that you know my first name. I don't care to know your first name. I just want you to drop the puck so we can continue playing. I had to get this off my chest because it was bugging me today watching that. And then I saw Connor got kicked out, and he had words for that guy. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. Once again, fans aren't here to watch you drop pucks. I know one guy in the nasty chat's like, I love face-offs, which is
well done,
hilarious.
Well done.
McDiesel says he bets on them.
Oh boy, you get some
how much
prop
money
bets
does he
there
win in those ones?
Yeah.
Will this lineman kick out? Will this lineman kick out Leon from the draw? Probably a 50-50
yeah,
shot.
You should almost play a game with shots. So every time this guy gets kicked out, you have a shot. The way that they're going about their games right now, like it could be complete. You'd be crushed by end of the first period.
They had to redrop the puck for overtime.
Yeah.
Oh God, that drove me nuts too.
Oh boy,
feels like they left their capes in the dressing room.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. I enjoy harassing officials. Let's go back into the inbox. 780-218-9999. The Oilers fall 4-3 in overtime after a fantastic comeback. They shouldn't have allowed it to get to that point. Good on them for battling back. Terrible second period, but ultimately they fall in overtime. Alex Tuck, the winner. Let's go to Colorado. Rusty texting in says, Oilers lucky to get the point, but my God, is Bouchard a terrible defensive hockey player. Just atrocious. It hurts to watch. Cost the Oilers the game, not once, but twice. That Tage Thomson goal, boys, that was pathetically bad. I'm sorry. And then there were other instances where he was just back in La La Land. It looked like it was October 17th all over again. Bellsy, what'd you see tonight?
Like the Tage Thomson goal, it's there's three guys at the net. You got two Oiler defensemen at the net, so they needed somebody to come in to make it a 3-on-3 down low. Didn't really care for that. I think that was the one that was batted in by Tuck. Or like punched by Tuck. So that one was obviously a tough goal to give up, just the way that they covered. Obviously the Tuck goal that was scored in OT was just two guys going to the wrong player.
Yeah, I think McDavid slid. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, wasn't it Draisaitl and Bouchard kind of went to the same guy to McLeod. And then he ends up getting a pass from McLeod and just slides it in. So that's a tough goal to give up. The Tage Thomson goal, like you mentioned, that's obviously tough because that's a massive turnover, massive blunder. I understand what Bouch was trying to do. He was trying to be a little bit more patient and just slide it kind of between his triangle. But, Tage Thompson's 6'12", and he had a good stick, and he steals that puck away from him, ends up in the back of your net. So if you're looking at the goals that were scored, like, are they preventable? 100%. I would say at least two of them are preventable, which if you just solidify that by itself, you win the hockey game. Mm-hmm. So, effort and what you did in the third period, yep, that was great. But if you just limit those chances that you had, or you don't give up those two particular opportunities, well, then you still win the game. The power play goal, like the Doan one, was nice. The tip was nice. You can't really do much about those goals, so it's hard to critique them. But
Doan was left all alone in front, and it was Regula and Bouchard who let him deflect that shot.
So it was there were some nice goals by Buffalo, but at the end of the day, like, you can't turn over the puck right in front of your net. That's a recipe for disaster. And the other piece of that puzzle is you can't leave guys wide open in the slot, and especially guys that would be, upper echelon hockey players in the league.
Just one more time. Bellsy, take a look ahead to Thursday against Detroit. The Red Wings, I just need to remind myself where they are right now. third in the Atlantic at 35 points. They've won 2 in a row, 16, 11, and 3. They're not a terrible team. They're not a great team, but they look like a team that'll give you a fight most nights. How do the Oilers bounce back?
Well, the Oilers have to bounce back by understanding what they did in the third period, being fully engaged, whether that's mentally engaged, physically engaged, because when they do that, they're a good hockey team. But when they go into games where, it's kind of ho-hum, well, we just saw exactly what they put on the ice. So we've been watching that for most of the year. Mm-hmm. So the Oilers need to get back to the game that the way that they finished this game, and put that into the start from the drop of the puck against the Detroit Red Wings, and you most likely have a win. It's a very simple recipe. It's show up, play hard, and you probably are a better team than the Detroit Red Wings. They're going to play hard. They're a pesky bunch, but you're just a better hockey team if you show up.
Bellsy, you showed up tonight. Stuff as always, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow or Thursday?
Thursday.
All right, Thursday, Bellsy. There you go. There's our game analyst, Shawn Belle, helping us break down the Oilers 4-3 OT loss. Lots of text to get to. A lot of people pissed off. Yes, pointing out Bouchard's misgivings. Absolutely. Troll, who was texting in on the pregame show, was saying, after watching Bouchard cost the Oilers 2 goals tonight, I definitely get why you say he has no shot at the Olympic roster. Good comeback, but bad game by the Oilers. If they play the whole game like they did the third, it's an easy win. That's 3 points lost to the worst team in the league. Unacceptable. Troll, good point. And why I also was saying he doesn't have a shot at the Olympic team was because someone from the Olympic team's management was here recently, and they were asked about Bouchard, and it was no. So that's just passing that along. All right, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. Who do you want to hear from first? I'll leave that to you, Benny Thomson.
I'm curious to see what Colson has to say.
Okay.
I feel like he's got some honest answers, and honestly, he'll be mentioned later. Is what I'll say. But let's hear from Colson. Here's Colson from the dressing room tonight.
In the third, including your goal, can you just tell us about how you guys came out from the third period after being down 3?
I think we just we put ourselves to the tough position, obviously, right from the start, and again, I think down 3 for Oilers, I think is nothing, and guys proved it so many times already. And we need to get a job done. We need to. We're having obviously lots of good habits, and we have the best players in the world here, so we have to win it more.
Why do you think a bit of a missed opportunity with Buffalo coming in tired and a little bit on a tough road trip? Not the best start for you guys. Why do you think you started the way you did?
Yeah, obviously not the best start. I mean, they did a good job too. They're a good team too, and they played strong, tough to play against. But we need to have a better start for sure.
Does it feel like a bit of a wasted point? Like that's a game when you look at the schedule, you think you should win that game?
Yeah, that's what I think. We had to win it.
You're up to 6 goals. I mean, you had that one off Bobrovsky's head. You got the one-timer against Seattle. Have you been working just on? I know you've scored before, but different ways to put the puck in the net?
I think just more about shoot mentality and try to shooting from the different positions, and that's what we're working with the coaching staff every day.
There's Vasily Podkolzin. You know what? Actually, he handled himself pretty good and was pretty honest up front. And I don't think a lot of people are going to disagree with him. Wasted point, he agrees with that. Bad start, he agrees with that. Some of the best players in the world on their team, I agree with that. And that was a blown point overall and a disappointing night in oil country. All right. 780-218-9999. Jump into the chat as well. Let's go to the turning point of the game, which is always brought to you by our good friends over at Advanced Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. Listen, coming in a close second was the tying goal by Connor McDavid with 1.9 seconds left on the clock. That was a great rally by the Oilers. Good job digging in on the PK and then getting that goal with the late scramble. People are shoot. They get the play, and then they get the rebound. McDavid buries his 16th of the year, second of the night. That comes in second. The turning point of the game was Alex Tuch, his 11th. In overtime, being left alone in front, and it was McDavid and Bouchard and Draisaitl that got clumped up to one side, chasing Ryan McLeod. Tuch left all alone. He puts it underneath the pad of Stu Skinner. So that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. Visit them today to get your assessment booked. Go to www.advancesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. Yeah, McDavid could go there and get some free work done on his back for carrying the team in the third period. All right, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Let's hear from Zach Hyman.
To spot a team 3 goals and then trying to climb out of that hole. Just your thought on the first 2 periods and then turning around in the third.
Yeah, not ideal. Obviously, you don't want to be in a 3-0 hole going into the third. Third was good, obviously, able to battle back. A couple huge kills, and then found one late, so earned a point out of it.
I guess penalties. There's time penalties sometimes kill momentum. I guess it's just one of those things. You guys battling, and you take a penalty here, take a penalty there. Or how did you kind of see that?
Yeah, I mean, didn't like some of them, but it's okay.
So you had lots of time on the power play as a group. What did you think of kind of the chances that you generated? And obviously, couldn't push through, but what did you think of it?
Yeah, the power play has been obviously running really well lately. Thought we had looks tonight. I had one on the backside I'd like to have back. We had a couple other looks. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to score every night in the power play as much as we'd like to. But I thought we were able to get back in the game, 5-on-5, and then a bunch of huge kills, build some momentum on the power play maybe, and then got the 6-on-5 goal. So
you guys pull your way back into it. You grab a point. Obviously, it's a group that's had your share of downs this year. So are you looking to pull positives? Does it erase maybe what happened in the first quarter?
You'd like to play full 60, especially with the way that we've been trending. It's been in the right direction. First 40 wasn't great, but I think I really like the group's push back. It's easy. You're down 3-0 to just go away and write the game off. But we didn't do that. We scored on the first shift and then another one in the next 2 minutes, and you're right back in the game, and you call yourself a point out of a game where you put yourself in a hole. So I think that's a positive.
Over the last few years, the Buffalo Sabres seems to have this team's number. Yeah. Is there just something about this team, the matchup or something?
I don't know. I mean, they play us hard. Every team in the league now is a good team. It's just you look at the standings, and they're probably closer than they've ever been, I think maybe ever. Like no team's really out of it. You go on 1 5-game winning streak, and you could be first in the division, on both sides of the conference. So there are no bad teams anymore. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Well, there was Zach Hyman. The Oilers have lost 3 straight to the Buffalo Sabres overall. And even at home, it's kind of been a little bit spotty as I dial that in. At home, actually, Edmonton had won 3 of the last 4 visits. But this Sabres team seems to steal points from the Oilers and has for the last handful of years. And that continues again tonight. Let's dip it to the inbox here, 780-218-9999. Let's go to Greg the Sound Guy texting in. Greg the Sound Guy says, that right there is the Oilers season summed up. Lows and highs and team walking away with what they deserve. It's a bummer, but that seems to be their identity. Frustrating as all heck of a team to cheer for. Cheers, fellas. Thank you, Greg the Sound Guy. Good to hear from you. Let's go to Stanley in YYC, who says Buffalo would be a playoff team and probably wouldn't hold the North American sports record for longest playoff drought if they got to play Edmonton more than twice a year. Can't lose to Buffalo in any fashion. Team failed tonight overall. Stanley in YYC. Let's go to SJ in the Kootenays, who says, never let it be said AI is not useful. As of December 9th, 2025, there are about 2,796 days left on Trent Frederick's contract with the Edmonton Oilers. Oh, yeah, it has not gone well.
Honestly, I thought, call me crazy, I actually thought their fourth line wasn't bad tonight for the Oilers. I thought Lazar made some big hits, and they had some momentum. To me, when the fourth line got out there, I wasn't like, oh my God, hold on to your seat, like get them off. Like, I actually thought they held their own tonight. Mm-hmm. It was more just brutal brain farts that to me that lost them their game today. Like I obviously number 2 has come up a lot and rightfully so, but I didn't. To me, Trent Frederick, would you have liked him to do more tonight? Of course, but but he
absolutely
hasn't. This wasn't his worst game as an Oiler or by any means.
Yeah, well, the bar's not set very high, so
that's true.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I know, and listen, credit to them. I mean, Tomaszek knocks out Colton Ellis. Lyon played good.
Yeah.
And then Lazar, like you said, laid a couple of hits down. Like, they're older guys. They're guys, a couple of them have been around the NHL for a while. They should be able to hold their own, and they kind of have the last few games, which is great.
Yep.
Which is great. Let's go to Dirty Curdy. He says Oilers' arrogance burns them in the first 2 periods. Then they claw back and take 3 dumb stick infractions, tie it, and then Larry, Moe, and Curly pretend to defend and no big save. So Oilers' Dirty Curdy is not a happy camper. Library Pat texting in says, what a expletive disgrace. They deserve to lose outright. This was exactly what I expected. They didn't give a crap for 2 periods and then tried to clean up their mess. So annoyed. Bouchard should have been benched after the gaffe. That's from Library Pat. Yeah, he was already having a tough night at that point. Let's go to Conroe, Texas. Conroe, Texas says, happy the Oilers got a point. Weirdly happy they lost it in overtime. This loss is all on Knoblock, who continues to reward Evan Bouchard for horrible, lazy mental mistakes. Clearly, he's not changing his approach. I guess if the Oilers win the cup, I'm wrong and will gladly admit it. But sadly, I don't see that as being the case. And Conroe, Texas, putting a little bit of heat on Chris Knoblock. And listen, Bouchard had been, I'll give him credit, he was playing better the last few weeks, but he went back to mid-October Bouchard tonight in a big way, and it was not pretty at all, and actually quite costly for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, speaking of Chris Knoblock, he is ready to go. We will send that over right now. Let's hear from the head coach.
2 periods. Was there a significant change from the second to third in your mind?
I thought we just played a little more urgency, a little more pace to our game. Especially the second period, I thought we extended our shifts and just didn't really set up the next line very well. You see that right away from the third period where, Connor scores, and then even after that, we had some changes where we're in the offensive zone, we have possession, we get new guys out there, and ultimately it sets up the next line where the other team can maybe get the puck out, and then we can counter right away, and we had a lot more positive shifts. Early on, I think we were just playing a little bit slower and not generating as much as we should have.
So that in the first 2 periods, it did seem there was some zone time, but maybe not a lot of shots. Like I know their guys are looking for a good play, but as a coach,
in the first period, we had a lot of zone time in the first period. I'm not so sure in the second, but in the third we did. I know I can think of probably up to 10 times we had the puck in the slot and we didn't take a shot, which is not the, anytime you get into that dangerous ice, you should be looking to shoot. And whether somebody's maybe right in front of you, and they're very rarely should you be passing it up if you can get the puck in the middle of the ice. And I thought we did it way too many times, at least half a dozen times.
Can you take us through the sequence on the overtime winner and where the breakdown was?
I think there was just some confusion on who was checking the puck, and then ultimately we gave them too much time, and the guy slips in behind. So I think it was just each guy out there assuming the other guy was going to be checking the puck, and ultimately we got 3 guys around it, but not checking it, and just communication.
Do you, your team's been playing pretty good hockey, and it's easy for the fans and everyone to watch them and say they should be great every night. Is this a game where maybe you get rescued by your power play, or, usually most nights like this, your power play gets you one? Is this a game that was retrievable, but you just, did you play well enough to win?
I don't think we played well enough to win for 60 minutes, but I thought we were not terrible. In our power play, usually we had, I believe, 4 opportunities tonight, no goals, but so often they are capitalizing. And I know in the second period, I know Leon had 2 shots where it hit the goalie and he didn't see it, where, that could have snuck in easily. We have a great power play. A lot of the times they're winning games for us, but to expect them to do it every single night is kind of far-fetched.
Your Bouchard makes the play, gives it to Tage Thomson, stolen, it's in the net. What do you do as a coach? Like, what do you think about that? How do you, you obviously play him, you don't bench him. I'm not criticizing you for that. How do you approach that when a player makes an error of that magnitude?
Mostly a conversation the next day about what had happened on the play. To tear a strip off him in between periods or on the bench, I don't think is productive. He knows he made some mistake. He knows that that's not the right play. It'd be different if Evan didn't care. If Evan didn't feel that he believed that he didn't make a mistake, but he pretty good self-awareness that he understands what happened on the play.
Yeah, that was a big boo-boo, a real big boo-boo, and the Oilers still managed to salvage a point. Maybe you're hearing the old school versus the new school approach there. Talk to him tomorrow. Don't need to tear a strip off of him. That's how Knoblock looks at it. Text had come in from Shamani, who said, "Why is no one talking about Bush? Are his giveaways and lack of battle becoming expected now?" And let's be honest, he should not be on PK1. Shamani, pardon me, from Texas. Oh, yeah, we've been talking about him for sure. As we welcome in Reid Wilkins for Reid's Reid, brought to you as always by Ewell, your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear you need for your next electrical project with 3 Edmonton area locations, and you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. This man is powerful. He is electric. You just got to be around him and you can sense it and feel it. It's his presence. It is Reid Wilkins. Good stuff on the post game in the locker room and then talking to Chris Knoblock there. Reid, let's just go with your takeaways from the Oilers 4-3 OT loss.
Well, I'll start with Bouchard since you just read a text about him. I mean, he had quite a poor game, I thought. I mean, that Tage Thomson goal, like, that's shocking. I honestly can't remember if I've seen a play exactly like that when a defenseman's trying to take it behind his own net and a guy in front just swipes it off his stick and shoots it in.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's an impossible play for Skinner to. I mean, if Thomson misses Skinner, it's a goal. Like, he's shooting from 4 feet away with Skinner with no time to set up for his shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just a clumsy play by Bouchard. That was a bad play. The overtime goal, I want to watch it again because I went back, watched the replay 3 or 4 times where Shawn was looking at it on his phone, and I was kind of like, I don't know, like, it's kind of on all 3 guys. Like, somebody needs to stay down the middle of the ice, or McDavid needs to come back quicker. I mean, Bouchard and Draisaitl both kind of read to go along the boards, and then it just, I don't know. I think that was just a mess up by all 3 guys.
Reid, it was Draisaitl checking McLeod. Bouchard crept towards the wall, and McDavid came down low. I think there was a guy with McDavid, and he kind of felt, I'm assuming he felt like he was in a good position, but McDavid also circled towards those 3.
Right.
And then Tuck was able to just sneak in, and then, you know what? McLeod made a good play. And then the Oilers were all clumped up.
Yeah, I guess that's a play where somebody has to recognize where the dangerous player is.
Yeah.
McLeod along the boards, is not a dangerous player. Like if you gave him an extra second, he's not going to score from there, but you might be able to take away a pass. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think they all kind of misread it or didn't read off each other very well. I connected during Knoblock's postgame, but he said an interesting thing in one of his first two answers. I think at first he said 10. I think at first he said at least 10, and then he changed it to at least half a dozen.
Yep.
But times where they had the puck in the slot and they didn't shoot. Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe the biggest disappointment about this game for me, is that especially in the first period, there were times they had the puck in the offensive zone and they didn't wind up getting dangerous shots. Mm-hmm. There was the perimeter passing, there was the cycling, and of course you want to pass, of course you want to move the puck around, but there were opportunities to shoot, or where it looked like, oh, maybe there's some traffic in front, they should put the puck there and see what happens. And they simply didn't do that. And to me, that's one of the biggest disappointments, because the shots on goal were 8-7 Oilers after the first. And I kind of was like, they could have had 14 or 15 shots easily, like just bang away. And then Buffalo was the better team in the second period. I mean, I noted with 7.5 minutes left in the second period, the shots in the second period were 12-3 for Buffalo. Yeah. And they'd gotten 2 more goals, and then the one that was disallowed, which it should have been disallowed. Yes. So, it's almost like Buffalo had their response period, but they already had the lead because of how the Oilers didn't get the puck to the net in the first period. Now, the third was exciting. They did exactly what they should do. They had a set play off the opening faceoff. They probably got away with an icing. Yes. And then, Podkolzin in front of the net keeps banging away. And then they survive a sequence of back and forth penalties, probably 1 or 2 each way, where you wonder, did that really need to be called in a game like that? Mm-hmm. So good for them to win that late game situation, to at least get a point out of it. I also heard you run the Podkolzin interview there. Like he's a positive tonight and for this team. And the way I've been describing him is like, he's just a good technical hockey player. He's not going to wow you. He's not going to make a spectacular play. But even when the Oilers were playing poorly, like how often did you look at Podkolzin and say, oh, he screwed up like 8 times tonight? Like he's in the right place. He competes very hard. He plays physical. He plays well positionally. And as he said in that interview, he's focusing on getting his shot off and getting pucks to the net quite a bit. And clearly he usually does a pretty good job getting his body to the net. So, it turned into an exciting game. It looked like a complete dud after 2 periods. So, they salvage a point, but this was kind of a sleepy game for large sections of it by the Oilers, I thought.
It really did feel like a mid-December cold night, middle of the week type of game in the building, on the ice. Just had that vibe to it. Kind of meh. Or what would you call it, Benny? Blech.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah. That's how you would describe
back
tonight.
Throat, yeah. Ugh.
Till the third period.
Yeah. Right. And I don't think it's totally, I just got to double check, Tom. I had it up earlier today. I don't think it's totally accurate that Buffalo has the Oilers number.
They've won 3 in a row against Edmonton.
But the Oilers won a couple before that.
Yeah. I had it here, and I went through it. Like the Oilers had won the last couple in Edmonton against Buffalo, but Buffalo has come in here in the last 7 or 8 years and been a thorn in the sides of the Oilers.
Buffalo, since McDavid joined the league, Buffalo they have had the advantage, but I don't know it's to the point where
it's not like always.
So like when Anaheim beat them 18 out of 19 when they were in the same division.
Or they went 10 years without really winning in Minnesota.
Right.
No, it's not like that, but it happens more than it should, where you look and you go, wow, they lost to Buffalo. And it's been happening. I can recall, I think even back to like 2016, 17, Buffalo came in here. O'Reilly scored, like chipped one in that bounced on Talbot. And the Oilers lost that game like 6-1. If I recall correctly.
Well, the year they started 7-1 and got into the playoffs, I think their one loss was to Buffalo.
Yeah, that's the game I'm talking about.
Where would it be?
It was early.
Sunday, October 16th. So they swept Calgary in a home and home, lost 6-2 to Buffalo. Then they would have won 5 in a row and then lost the Craig Anderson shutout game when Talbot stayed on the bench to clap him off the ice when he was a star.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess they have not been on the happy side of the results against Buffalo, but I wouldn't say it's extreme domination either. Anyway,
but it happens more often than you would assume against Buffalo for the Oilers, and that's disappointing. Now Buffalo's trying as well; they have good players. Although most of this roster tonight, as I showed Belsey, is not particularly strong outside of the top 2 lines in the top. Forward. Actually,
it's probably a better roster than they've had in some of the other years they've missed the playoffs.
But they're also last in the East for a reason. They have 2 road wins coming into this game and 9 losses and 2 OT losses away from Key Bank Arena. Like, I don't know. To me, too much bad happened from an Oilers standpoint, and that shouldn't have happened. I'll just sum it up that way.
And look, they have been playing a little better the last 2.5 weeks or so, but, Bouch had tough moments. I even, Draisaitl kind of has a funny stat line. He had an assist, +2, 7 shots on net, 15 out of 22 in the faceoff circle, which is dominant. But I even thought Leon tried a couple of his passes where it was like, okay, what is he doing? Like, how did he think he was gonna complete that? Yeah, and again, just a lot of the passing around the outside and not like they didn't. I didn't feel, and mostly in the first period, I didn't feel they did enough to force the issue. Like, eventually the puck has to go to the. I mean, this is the old thing. Like, this is what in hockey when you take a shot. Like the cycling and the passing is of course important, but it's really when you take a shot that the stress level increases for the defense, because now they have to turn and look for a rebound or look for a guy to cover, right?
Yeah.
So if you never shoot, like Buffalo was almost kind of like, well, we'll just stay in a little box in front of our own net. We know the Oilers will never shoot.
Mm-hmm. Let's dip into the inbox again. 780-218-9999. Tom, Reid, and Ben with you. The Oilers fall 4-3 in OT, salvaging a point with a late rally in the third period. Let's go to Duffman. Duffman says, unfortunately, our ability to quote-unquote cheat for offense bites the Oilers in the butt on the overtime winner. 3 players, specifically their leaders, focus on the puck, thinking about the possibility to transition into an odd man rush. No one pins McLeod against the boards to take him out of the play. All Draisaitl has to do is put a body on him. McLeod is unable to find Tuck, not to mention make the great pass that he did. That's from Duffman. Duffman, good text. Shawnzy says, good evening, guys. I'm so frustrated with this team at this point. I've been giving away all of my tickets. This is my second year as a season seat holder, and it's beginning to feel like it's a poor investment, but I know that they'll get in the playoffs, and this conversation will literally mean nothing. Off to bed now, Shawnzy. I know it's expensive, Shawnzy. I actually was having a great conversation with some friends in the second intermission, and they were saying the same thing. Like, they've had a tough time giving away tickets, just price point for people they even give tickets to. It's still an expensive night, even though you're not paying for the tickets, but everything around it and in the building, expensive. Let's go to JB. Says, I have to say, it looked like Gaedra was thinking Stauffer and the Latino Heat have a similar level of disappointment in the Oilers right now. Let's go to Scoob. Says, I botched the text. It's supposed to say, oh, guys, what the heck is the matter with Frederic and Mangiapane? What do they even do? Did you notice anything from those two tonight at all?
Frederic, not really. I mean, Mangiapane, like, he is frustrating.
Yeah.
Like he does kind of show up though, like at times, but they didn't play a lot. I mean, Frederic only played 650. Was it 657 or 857?
I could look it up here.
I think it says 657. Mangiapane only got to 9 minutes. I would guess that's his season low off the top of my head.
657.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we've talked Frederic to death. Yeah. I mean, we know that he's not going. Mangiapane's become sort of a third liner now that the top 6 is healthy, except for Roslovic.
Yep.
There have been some decent moments from him. But yeah, they kind of turned into a 6 forward, 4 defenseman game. The more the night went on. I thought that was interesting text about the person and their tickets. Like I wonder too, Tom, is there fan fatigue from the last 2 years? I mean, could be. You the last 2 seasons were 9 months. Mm-hmm. You know, like
100 plus
training
games.
camp mid-September to June 24th for Game 7, and I want to say June 17th for Game 6, losing the Stanley Cup final.
Correct on both of those.
Like it's a massive time investment for any fan. And then for people who were going to games or all the games, like were tickets $1,000 in the Stanley Cup final?
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. I think that was before resale, right? Like, so, and we talk to fans every day, as much as we hear from people who might be upset or worried or criticizing the GM and the coach, and like, oh, that is fair. We also hear from people who are like, whatever, like wake me on March 15th. Or wake me for the first round when they play LA again, if that happens. So, there is some of that. Like, is this game? And I'm generalizing here. I realize there's probably dozens of different points along this spectrum that I'm talking about, but is this like an exciting game to go to? Like, it's freezing out. Buffalo is not a sexy team.
No.
People are, we know it in our business, habits change. Are people Christmas shopping? Are they doing Christmas activities already at this time of year? So it's like, hey, I got Buffalo Oilers. And it's like, okay. Like,
yeah, I had 2 buddies today that like last second bought tickets, I think for $60 tonight. Cause it was that low.
Great price.
Like
great price.
So they were like, you know what, might as well.
Yeah. And Joaquin made an interesting thing. He pointed out that the last couple of games he's gotten alerts from Rogers Place saying last minute tickets available on his phone. And so he's like, have you ever gotten that, Tommy? I'm like, no, I don't sign up for notifications from them. But he's like, I've not seen this before. And he noticed that it was quiet in the level that the theater boxes are, where they have their Sportsnet studio set up, where Gene and Bob and Joaquin and Struddy and Mac T do their stuff. And then I had friends saying that they were on the suite level a couple games ago, and it was really, really quiet as well. So there could be a bit of a fatigue factor involved, and you summed it up nicely, Reid. Okay, I want to read this one from Nash and Whitecourt. I want to bounce it off of you, Reid, before we look to Thursday. Nash and Whitecourt, and Benny too, obviously, says, so much Skinner hate in the nasty chat. Can't hang this on Skinner. The entire team checked out for the second. Bouchard, though, had another rough night. Wasn't getting shots through. Terrible turnover and lazy, lackluster play. Gross. Bouchard is a mystery, and the nasty chat is drunk. That's from Nash and Whitecourt, who's not happy today about what's going on in the chat. Like, how bad was Skinner, guys? Like, was he bad? Thought he made some okay saves.
Yeah, I didn't think he was bad. I thought he made some pretty good saves, actually, especially on that power play late in the game when Buffalo could have put the game away. Look, when you lose, you could always say, well, you needed another save from your goaltender.
Of course.
Nice tip by Doan, between the leg shot. Good for him.
I didn't love
finishing.
that one. I didn't love that one. Power play goal, the Thomson goal we've already talked about. It's point blank with no time to get set. The overtime goal, sure, he kind of got across and then didn't stop it. It's also a wide open. If Hyman finishes that goal, the Tuck scored in overtime, no one's saying the opposing goalie missed it. Yeah. I thought Skinner had a decent game, maybe not a great game, but he made some good saves. In the end, he gave the Oilers a chance. Yeah. So I don't focus too much on the goaltending on this one personally, but Benny.
Yeah, I understand if you don't like a goal or two from him. I get it. But specifically the Doan tip and the Thomson goal, like, I don't know how you can blame him on either of those. Like you guys were saying, he made some big saves. To me, you can't Like you can't just blame Stuart Skinner for this loss tonight. I think if there's a level of blame to go out, there's a specific guy higher than him probably tonight. But it's obviously that's been brought up a lot. But yeah, overall, I mean, to me, I thought Skinner gave him a chance to win, and it was up to the Oilers for them to do it, and they didn't get it done. Don't
tip. Regula and Bouchard don't even challenge him in front of the net. They're not even close to him when he tips it. The second Doan goal, cheeky play by Doan, and maybe it confused Skinner. I didn't love it, but those goals, if you're clever and you're quick with your hands, you could pull it off, and he certainly did. That's a goal. That's a skilled play by Doan. The third one, that's on Bouchard, guys. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's on Bouchard. That was atrocious. And then overtime, it's a 1-on-1, and you've got Alex Tuck, who's a pretty good finisher. And he did what he's good at. I thought I'd go through all of them. All right, Reid, I'm going to read this text, and then let's move on to Thursday night. It's from RSO Cody, who says, I think what Podkolzin said about being down 3 isn't so bad for this team is the general attitude of this team the last couple of years, especially to start the year. And it is a problem. And if you start like that again on Thursday, I don't think you're climbing your way back into it against Detroit.
Yeah, I think he's referencing the Podkolzin says being down 3-0 shouldn't be a big deal for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, that's why I bring it up.
Yeah,
good text, Cody.
Personally, I thought he was coming from a place of that we never give up.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, oh, we're fine farting around for half the game and then trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think Podkolzin was saying that we don't give up and we believe we can explode for offense if necessary. But I don't think he's saying, oh yeah, we just whatever, who cares about the first, so I wouldn't read into it that way. But yeah, I mean, against Detroit, shoot the puck. It's great you can control the puck, shoot the puck. And like Knoblock said too, once they got into the third period, then they're setting up the next line to be successful, right? Mm-hmm. You start building your shifts on one on top of each other. Mm-hmm. You're hemming Buffalo in. You're making them spend more energy defending. Then when they get the puck, they can't attack. They're just dumping it out, trying to survive. And then the Oilers get to come back on their next shift. So try to build that against the Sabres as opposed to playing this sort of slow, sleepy perimeter game that they did for about 40 minutes.
Frustrating loss for the Oilers. They do pick up a point. They lose 4-3 in overtime. Reid Wilkins, you were really good as always. Powerful, I would say.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure being on with you guys.
I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Reid.
All right, see ya.
There you go. That is Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Good stuff from our afternoon show host from 3 to 6 with Jay, Milne, and the Coob. The boys will have a good one again tomorrow afternoon. Lots to discuss all day long tomorrow as the Oilers give us plenty of fodder each and every day. And they certainly added some fuel to the fire tonight with their loss. Okay, let's get to the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He's community driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. And we pass it off to Ben Thomson.
Yeah, Reid brought him up, and I've really, really liked how this guy's game has progressed. Even just from the first time he got to Edmonton to where he is now. I like staying off of the 3 stars. He wasn't a 3-star, so I was very happy to highlight him today. Honorable mention, though, to Buffalo's Ryan McLeod. I know I wasn't in this business at the time, but from a fan's perspective, I critiqued Ryan McLeod's game a lot. I didn't like his play. I didn't like the way he played. And I was happy with the trade that they got from him. And I still think it'll be a good trade for the Oilers with Savoy coming here. But tonight looked really good, specifically on the PK. Like I thought he had sticks in lanes and looked dangerous, even just with the disadvantage. The guy that's getting player of the game, though, today is Vasily Podkolzin. I mean, he works his ass off every night. And to me, like, just this year, you can tell he's got a little bit more confidence with the puck. Like, I understand, like, and Tom, you talked about an oil stream yesterday with, his goal is to go get the puck and then find 29 and then give it to him and then go get open. That's kind of his role. But
it works.
and it does work for him. But I find that even in the neutral zone or in the O zone, that when he gets the puck, it's no longer like, okay, first looks to Leon and then like just do whatever you can to get it to him. It's like, okay, hold on, I can hold on to this puck a little bit. I can shake off as one guy. I can move over here to let Leon get open on that far side, right? So I feel like his game is really progressing. He's got 6 goals this year. Looks like he'll get double digit, knock on wood, if he stays healthy, which is what the goal for him this year. And I've liked his game pretty much from the start of the year. It's consistent. So I thought he was a highlight tonight. So that's why he's the Damon Bunting player of the game.
Good choice, Benny. He's mucky, he's scrappy, and he shoots it straight post game. So good stuff from Vasily Podkolzin. 6 goals. That's pretty good through 30 games. I kind of knock him. He's not a traditional top 6 guy. Some people defend him and say, his 5-on-5 stats indicate decent top 6 numbers, but he doesn't really let you down. That's what I'll give him credit for. And what you described with like controlling the puck in the neutral zone and not immediately looking for Draisaitl, that sounds like confidence to me. And I think that's a comfort level, which is honestly good. Yep. So I can definitely give him some credit because it's definitely deserved when it comes to Vasily Podkolzin. All right, let's go to a couple texts to wrap things up. That was the David Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. I like how you don't just go to the 3 stars.
Yeah.
I will add that. I appreciate that very much.
Everyone knows the 3-star. Like, if I were to pick Josh Doan, he scored the between the legs goal today. But like, all right, we saw him. Like, I want to highlight someone that's not on there.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the 3 stars at the NHL on the NHL website. So it's Doan first, McDavid second, Tuck third. I think the broadcast had McDavid first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was watching the end of it here in the satellite studio.
Yeah, well, I mean, he probably could have been first star. He
was great. No, he was good.
He had a Connor McDavid night tonight.
Let's go to Pizza Boy. Says, I get the general admission ticket alerts about $100 after fees. They need to pay for my parking, buy me a slice of pizza and a pop, and I'd consider it. If the team doesn't want to show up to games, neither do I. That's from Pizza Boy. Good text, Pizza Boy. Thank you for that. Dirty Curdy says, why does Skinner make it so easy around his crease? Use a damn poke check once in a while. Yeah. You know what? I wonder that too, Dirty Curdy. I really do.
Speaking of poke checks, Alex Lyon could have had one on Podkolzin's goal. Or frozen it or something. Podkolzin got 5 whacks at it, and Lyon just stood there and just watched him do it. I think
he made 2 stops there before Podkolzin. It kicked out, and then he smashed it home.
Part of it's I think it was Samuelson. He had beat the coverage on where he had the inside on him with closest to the net. And yeah, he got 2 or 3 whacks before he finally shelved it on Lyon. But yeah, like Lyon just sat there. I was kind of hoping a defenseman would swipe it out of the way, but how easily he could have poke checked or like dove on it or whatever. But I think goalies are worried that if they make a move and the player times it with the right timing of a shot, he's opening himself up for more holes around to bury it. So I think that's, if I had to guess, the mentality behind it. But yeah,
he was sprawled out too, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Frustration, 100%. I understand it. Good on them for digging their way out of a bad hole that they sunk themselves into. But they do climb out of it, and they do get a point, 32 points in 30 games, but you should beat that roster with the Buffalo Sabres tonight. Back-to-back, 3-4. Get their butts whipped in Calgary last night. The Oilers blew it. 1 point out of a possible 4 against the last place team in the Eastern Conference. Not good enough. They'll look to bounce back Thursday night against a tougher opponent in the Detroit Red Wings as they close out their 5-game homestand. We'll have the pregame show for you, as always, 6 o'clock following the Reid Wilkins show. A huge thank you to everybody who listened. A huge thank you to everybody who watched. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate that very much. The whole algorithm thing. All right. That does it. 4-3. The Oilers lose in overtime. Disappointment? Yes. A point? Yes. We'll chew it all up tomorrow on the Nielsen Show starting at 6 a.m. with Dusty, Eric, and Trev, and it continues on all the way to 6 p.m. with the Reid Wilkins Show and some great shows in between. For Benny Thomson, for Shawn, Belle, for Reid Wilkins, I'm Tom Gazzola saying have yourselves a wonderful night. Stay warm, stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.